welcome back to Shelabobby Handmade. My name is Caitlin, known just about everywhere on the internet as Shelabobby, and this is my podcast where I talk about knitting, crochet, yarn, sometimes cross stitch, all of my crafty endeavors. And today I have a traditional podcast for you. If you didn't see, if you're used to me just posting every 2 weeks, if you didn't see, I had a bonus video for you guys. I believe it's going to show up on the top corner here if I have my directions correct. But I organized my notions with you guys and released that last weekend. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. And it's kind of a trial run for organizing my yarn at the end of May. So we'll see how that goes. No promises. All right, so today should be fairly quick. I don't have too much to talk to you about, and we'll get into why. But nothing dramatic, I promise. But yeah, I have a few finished objects for you. The first finished object, I forgot to put them on my sock blockers, so let me grab those. The first one is my, you have seen these in the last podcast. These are my Jersey Devil socks for my grandma. Get them nicely on the blocker here. So I have completed the pair of these. These are Jersey Devil by Fangirl Fibers. I'm getting her Cryptids, Myths, and Legends monthly club. And I'm getting it in her DK weight. And my plan is to make most, if not all of them, for my grandma and give them to her for her birthday, for Christmas, you know, bulk usage. I will put the Stock and Stop, which is grippy paint, basically, on the bottom of her socks before I put them away for Christmas or her birthday. That comes first. And Mother's Day is coming up, so she'll likely get a pair of these. But yeah, I am enjoying this club, really. It's nice. I like the yarn. The yarn is very soft, which is great. My grandma will love them, and I'm loving the way that the colorways are coming out on them. I think this is the third sock, maybe. Might be the second one, and the third one I'm gonna wind up. I don't know. I can't remember. I've been making a lot of socks. But yeah, all of these this year will get made and gifted to my grandma most likely. I might make my sister a pair of socks out of one of them. I have some DK weight yarn that I've purchased that will go to my grandma as well. So I might swap out the monthly and make one for myself or my grandma or my sister or whatnot. So yeah, there are 2 of those, but I'm going to use the other blocker for the other sock I'm going to show you. So those are they. The yarn I told you about, the pattern is the DK weight vanilla sock pattern from the Crazy Sock Lady or Kayla Litton. It's a free pattern. It's great. I'm using the 56 stitch count from that pattern, US 3's 3.25 millimeter magic loop. I started these April 15th and finished them April 20th. DK weight socks for me are fairly quick. All right, so that is that sock. The next finished object I had, you're probably expecting, this is my Granny Stripes blanket from Lucy of Attic 24, modified for fingering weight scraps. This blanket was expected to be done on May 2nd, and it was. I started this, let's see, January 17th is when I cast on or chained or started this project. And the intention was to make it for my mom. I did some math about mid-March, early March, and found out that it would be done in time for her birthday. So it became a birthday gift. And I finished it May 2nd as expected. These are all fingering weight scraps from leftover advents, from leftover sock yarn. It's really cool. I can pick out different yarns in here that I made socks with and who those socks went for. But yes, this is my mom's blanket, fully completed, and all of the ends woven in. Let me see if I can remember where you guys saw it. So I believe the marker before I took it off was on this yellow and gray stripe. So those were the final stripes, final colors added in. And what I'll do is I'll step back so that you can see it in its entirety. So basically, I haven't like done like the final measurement, but what I was going for was 54 inches wide and then 56 inches tall. Now I am between 5'2", 5'3", and when I stand up, it comes up to my chin. So that gives you an idea of how big it is. But yes, it is complete and ready to go to my mom. Her birthday is this week, so she is waiting patiently for it. I have a little one of my little suede tags that I'm going to pop onto the corner of it after I record today. But yes, it is done. It is complete. All right. Some fun facts about this. I'm going to toss it back here so that it's ready to put that tag on. I'll roll it back up and get it ready to wrap. But some fun facts about this is that because I am tracking my grams and doing my tracking a little bit differently, I never like have a full-on set goal, you have to do this amount or whatnot. I just kind of enjoy the statistics, the math part of it. And I have been tracking the yarn that I've been putting in there since January 17th. And I was able to add up all of that to see how many grams went into the blanket. And it was 978 grams, which is 10 100-gram skeins of yarn, all scraps. I didn't open up a new one. They were all scrap yarns. So that's pretty crazy to think that 10 skeins of yarn went into that. And a little sneak peek into how my grams in versus grams out is going. That blanket is half of the grams that I've used this year so far. Has been specifically into that blanket. So great stash buster, great project in general. I worked on that daily since January 17th. I've worked every day except for one day, which was like 2 weeks ago. And I still caught up that stripe, but I worked on it daily, putting at least one color in the blanket, which is 2 rows every day since January 17th. I've never done a project like that before. Usually I give up at some point because it's not entirely fun, but because I had a goal for it and wanted to get it done this year and gift it, it got done. So yeah, that was pretty cool. 978 grams is in that blanket. It's crazy. All right, so that is that finished object. I'm going to put the picture of my next one here because I do not have it. This is, I want to say it's Chester Pig, but I don't think that's right. It's like Chester Pig. Anyway, the project will be linked below with the pattern because I did not write down the designer for it. But this is a teeny tiny little pig made from DK weight scraps. It took 4 grams of yarn to make it. And that included the stuffing because I stuffed it with the yarn. So that is the full weight of that, including the stuffing. I did not put eyes on my little pig, but you can. I got this idea. I was watching a podcast, and if you don't follow them, it is Whips and Whimsy. They will be linked below. It is Zenith, and they do a pig parade every time they record. I think they do weekly. I feel like that's how often I watch them. But they do a pig parade where they make the pigs and they show you the pigs that they've made in the week, and it is fabulous. So I had the uncontrollable urge to make a tiny pig. So I did, and I put it over to the side and I showed it to my niece the next day, but she was having a rough week. She was having a rough week at school, just in general, struggling. And so she's 10 years old. So, you know, it's not the end of the world, but you know, at 10 years old, sometimes things are the end of the world. She was having a rough week, so I gave her the tiny pig, and so I don't have it to show you. That's why there's a picture of it. I plan to make another one for myself to have as little decoration, so you'll probably see another one maybe next podcast. So yes, that is the tiny pig. The last finished object I have for you is another pair of socks. These are for my friend Pupster. He requested another pair of socks, and he requested ones with holes because he was going to be in the broiler of Texas, which was going to be his residence for a while. But that has changed, and he's moving back up to the north, so that's great. He's just going to have some really fabulous socks. So these are socks for him, so I will ship these off soon. I have another little work in progress going that, well, it's not work in progress yet. It'll be started today, if that counts, but I need to finish that first before I send it. And yes, Pupster, I'm being elusive for a reason. So here is the sock for them. So this is the pattern is Most Ardently by Roro and Cades. One of my favorite textured patterns right now, especially if you're doing a more variegated yarn. Not one that is super duper busy. I kind of do the Serene socks or the Rhinebeck Roomies with that one. But this one is a lace pattern and very easy to memorize once you get the hang of it. And so, yes, that is the sock for them. I did change up my technique for this pair of socks. I got feedback from Pupster that his Christmas socks were just a little bit loose compared to what his preference is. And so usually I make my male socks on US 1.5's magic loop. And so that gives me a little bit of a bigger gauge for my male socks without having to cast on more stitches. So what I did is I still cast on, this is the 6th size in the pattern, so it's around the same that I would cast on for a male, and I just used my US 1's 2.25 millimeter socks to make these, so the gauge will be a little bit bigger, smaller, you know what I mean, tighter gauge. So we're going to try these out and see if they work a little bit better. So I actually finished these yesterday. So I cast these on April 2nd and finished them May 3rd. Today is May 4th. May the 4th be with you. And the yarn, that's what I need to tell you next. The yarn is Yarnable. And it is the Frosty Fox colorway from 2023, December 2023 to be exact. And of course I have both socks, just only put one on the blocker. Okie dokie. Move all my mess out of the way. So that is all of the finished objects that I have. Quite a few. I had 4 finished objects. One really, really big one and one really, really tiny one. All right, so whips. I don't have too many whips going. That's going to change today. I'm going to cast on a few more. Like I said, I have one planned, and then I plan to cast on a sock as well, but I need to wind up yarn for the sock. So that's the plan. But I feel like I didn't work too much on projects. I feel like I didn't have as much crafting time in the past 2 weeks. And the reason why is my niece, she taught me, well, she wanted to show me how to play Dress to Impress. And if you don't know what Dress to Impress is, it is a Roblox game. I don't really understand Roblox, but it's a Roblox game. You download Roblox, it's free, and then a game on Roblox is Dress to Impress. And that is basically, if you were from the 90s and you enjoyed going to like Barbie.com and all of those flash games where you played dress up and you took your little pictures, you could print them out, you could do the hair and the makeup and all that fun stuff. It's basically that, but multiplayer. And you get to vote for people's outfits, and there's themes, and it's really fun. So anyway, she showed me how to play that, and then we have been playing just about every day since then. So we get to play together. She's at her house, I'm at my house. We get to play together on the phone, and we duo, which means you get to dress up like you go down the runway together and your votes are together, and we slay. Okay, we ate. I don't understand those lingos, but that's what we're told. Anyway, yeah, so some of my crafting time has gone towards Dress to Impress. In fact, I have a Dress to Impress date today, so I'm excited. All right, so I don't have too many whips going. The first one, I don't think you've seen this one. I think this is the first time you've seen it. This is my Antonia socks. I think that's how you say it. On my label, it says Antonio. But on the website, if you put in this color, it's Antonia with an A instead of an O. But this is, my label is Tora, because this is Deep Deep Stash. These are Regia Perfect, sorry. And this is, this side. This is the preview of how these socks will turn out. So if you don't know about Regia Perfects, they basically start, they are a ball of yarn like this. And they have a yellow piece of yarn, which mine was gone because I used it in a amigurumi project. I used the yellow because it's like a good length. So I had already cut that off. But basically you start right after that yellow ends, and then you make the sock as the color breaks. So wrapped around my thing here. So here's my sock right now. Got hair on it, sorry. So you basically cast on as many stitches as you want. You then turn into stockinette. When your color change happens, you knit stockinette until another dark color comes after this, and you do the heel, and then you do the foot, which is a solid color, and then you do the toe in the gray color when that comes up. This is only the second time I've used this type of yarn. I used it way back when I first got this yarn, so a couple years ago, at least three years ago. It's not the softest yarn, but it is a workhorse yarn from what I hear, so really, really good for if you're wearing boots, if you're hiking, stuff like that. So this particular pair does not have an owner. I am gathering up some donations, and so that is going to go into the donation pile, so it will find its owner. I'm just going to make an average female size sock, and I am doing these on circulars, as you've noticed. I am doing these on 9-inch circulars. When I use 9-inch circulars, I have to go up a needle size for my gauge to not alter too much. So I use US 1.5's 2.5 millimeters, and that matches my US 1s on Magic Loop. So I have these on circulars. I cast these on kind of on a whim. I had finished up the Jersey Devil socks, and I didn't have any yarn that I wanted to cast on right away for stockinette. So this was already in a ball, so I just grabbed it and started it. So that's why this came about. So yeah, that is where I am on that one. I think when this pink, let's look at the example. Looks like when this lighter pink that I'm on right now, there's 2 more colors and then it goes into the cuff. So it's a very long leg, much longer than I typically do my legs, but it's just stockinette. I'm having a good time with it, so we loving it. Nothing really more to say about that one. I am center pulling because that's how the socks work. You know me, I am not a center pull person, so I will likely struggle as the ball reduces in size, but we'll be okay. We'll be okay. All right, so I'm going to leave that open because that's kind of my project to work on during Dress to Impress, because while we are in intermission or waiting for the voting to come in, I work on a little bit of stitching. All right. That's the only sock that I have going right now. Like I said, I'm going to be casting on the Daedalus, or I think that's how it's said, by Robo and Cade's. That's her current Cozy Toes knit along. And I need to wind up 2 colors to do those. So that's on my wind up. I have a collection of yarn in my basket right here to wind up for the next round of socks. I do have my Yarnaceous Fibers wound up, but those are pattern socks, so I'm going to wait until I finish the Daedalus socks to then do the pattern socks for those. It's just the way my brain works. I usually have a vanilla sock and a pattern sock so that whenever I need it, it's there. All right, so the only other whip knitting or crochet wise that I worked on in the past 2 weeks is my muscle burra. My muscle burra is my stockinette knitting if I'm going out and about and just need something mindless to work on while doing so. And we went to a baseball game last weekend and I needed some stockinette knitting. So this is this is Long Dog yarn in her tweed sock colorway Mackenzie, which is from her, I can't think of it, the one where the girl Claire, she travels back in time, she's marries this Scotsman, can't think of it, but anyway, their last name is Mackenzie. This is it in the ball. We are getting close to needing to decrease. I think I have about 20 more grams to work in this, and then we'll be ready to decrease. And I got quite a bit done at the game. So here it is in its entirety. And then where the chicken marker is where I last showed it to you, which has been a little while. So I got a good inch-ish, little over an inch done at the game. And I think I needed 3 more inches the last time I measured. So I'm around 2 inches. That works out for the 20 grams that I have. And yeah, so that is just a stockinette. This has no owner at the moment. It's just something that I cast on when I needed something for a movie, and that's what I use. It's been on the needle for a couple years. But getting close to finish, and then I'll probably just pick another yarn and make another one for stockinette because it's just easy to do, to have. If I didn't say, that is the Muscle Burra by Ysolda Teague. All right, so that is all the knitting and crochet that I have. Like I said, Dress to Impress has been taken over. I have one cross stitch to show you today. So this might reflect some. I'm going to try and hold it at an angle. This one right here, this is the Birth Samplers by Kathy Barrick, and I am making this one here for a baby that was born, a family friend, and I'm doing it in stash colors, so I'm not doing it to what the DMC is called for. I'm just doing it in some stash colors. So I worked more on the body of the bird. Again, not too much. I think I only worked on it one night during the past 2 weeks. I did have to rip out a thread because I realized that I had got the wrong pink, and so I had started the wrong color. My 2 pinks that I'm using are very close together, but they're not used close together in the chart, so I just got mixed up on my colors. All right, so that is, here's the back of it, by the way. You're going to see a needle because I still have some brown connected to it, but I am using, I think this is 18 count Ada from Michaels, and I am doing 3 threads over 1 cross. So I'm doing full cross for this. It is very bulky, very tight, but that's kind of what I wanted it. I wanted it to be a bold cross stitch. So that is all my cross stitch. I didn't touch my my stitch along at all or anything. I feel like cross stitch is something that's gonna come in and out, so this is probably not gonna happen every week, especially on that big one when I know it's just gonna take forever. It's a little bit discouraging, I guess, because it'll take a long time, much more than a year. All right, I just have one acquisition for you, and this is my Yarnaceous Fibers for April, I guess. So this is the Swift Reads, which is Taylor Swift songs that are then inspired by books that have the same title or lyric from one of her songs, and then they're using the song and the book together to create an inspiration yarn. So here is the stitch marker, which is a pair of lips, and each time that I wind up these yarns, I clip the stitch marker to it. And when I make the socks, I'll use the stitch marker and then pop it into my collection. But here's the yarn. This is I Knew You Were Trouble. And I get her Salta Fingering base. And this again is a monthly club. And so what I am planning to do with these is much like I was doing with my Long Dog yarns. I'm going to make a pair of socks, textured socks for my sister out of the yarns. Haven't started on the Yarnaceous fiber ones. Like I said, I have 2 wound up right there, the first 2 from this year. And I know what I'm going to do with the first one, but I'm going to do my Daedalus socks first. Okie dokie. That's all I have to show you today. Fairly quick episode, which is good because that means I can get to dress to impress quicker. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a lovely May so far. Mine's going pretty good. Got a lot of plans for crafts coming up, so hope you stay tuned. If you enjoyed this video, oh, I forgot to tell you, we hit a milestone. This past week we hit 500 subscribers. Yay! Thank you so much. That is a milestone that I have been looking forward to and working towards, and I thank you guys so much for joining me here and subscribing to watch more. And if you aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing because the next milestone is 1,000, which seems so far away. But I appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you so much. But if you aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Please leave me a like to let me know you like the video, and feel free to leave me a comment if you'd like. Let me know what you were working on while you were watching the video, whether that be housework or knitting or crochet or cross stitch or some other activity while you were listening or watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.